Congratulations on your purchase of an Epson SureColor printer. My name is Jeremy, and today we are going to be showing you how to unbox and set up your brand new printer. Before we get started, a few things to take note of are going to be the notes on how to uncrate the printer, as well as the location of the instructions and accessory kit for your printer. Now that the printer is uncrated, we're going to go ahead and uncrate all the smaller accessories that are located on pages 3 and 4 of your setup guide. Now we're going to go ahead and unbox the take-up and support rolls. Now we're going to remove the plywood and the legs for the stand. Now that we have the plywood and the legs for the stand removed, we are going to remove the crossbars and the maintenance kit, which is located on the foam. Now that we've unboxed the accessories in the stand, it is now time to put the base together. This is done much easier with 2 people and using the provided 5mm Allen wrench. Now that we've got the stand assembled, it is now time to place the printer on top of the stand. To do this, we'll be using the 2 poles that are mounted to the back of the crate. And also, to make this a little bit easier for us, we're going to rotate everything 90 degrees. That way, when we pick the printer up, you slide it right on top. Now that we have everything rotated 90 degrees, it is now time to move the printer to the stand. It is important to take note that the stand needs to be secured. To do this, we're going to want to lock the 2 casters. And for additional security, if you want to, you do have leveling feet that can be screwed down to come into contact with the floor. You just want to make sure that once you're done with this process, those leveling feet need to come back up before moving your printer into position. The next step is to untie the steel poles that are located on the back of the crate. These poles are used to mount the printer to the stand. One thing to take note of as you're untying the rope is the guidance screws that are located in the middle of the poles. These screws will be used while we're inserting the poles into the printer to make sure that they're going into the same spot and to lock them in position once they're inserted. Now we're ready to lift the printer to the stand. Before doing so, it's important to take note of the centering pins. These are going to be used to actually help put the printer onto the stand properly. Is it advised to have an extra person nearby to help center these pins to the location on the printer? Now that we've moved the printer to the stand, we now need to secure the printer to the stand. To do this, we are going to use the 8 provided fasteners as described in the setup guide. Before we can do that, we need to remove the poles we use to lift the printer to the stand. To do this, you need to rotate the poles so that the notches match up with the guidance screws. Once they are lined up, you are simply going to pull the rod out and set aside. Now that we've secured the printer to the stand, it is now time for us to install the stand accessories. The first accessory we're going to install is going to be the drain bottle bracket. Now that we have the drain bottle bracket installed, it is now time to install the drain bottle and run the tube. Tube into the bracket and then lock it in place. When doing the bottom bracket, you'll notice that there's 2 zip ties. The bottom bracket should fit between those 2 zip ties, and that's to secure it so it doesn't actually slip. Pop it back in place. Now that we've secured the printer to the stand using the 8 fasteners, it is important to also fasten the heater to the stand using the 2 provided silver screws. Now that we have the brackets installed, the next step is to install the automatic take-up system to the front of the machine. For this part, you will need a second person to assist. We're now at the back of the machine where it's time to install our media feed unit. To do this, you will need a second person to assist lifting. Now that we've installed the automatic take-up system, it is now time to install the tension rod. For this, you will need a second person, and while installing, it's important not to touch the white rod. Now that the printer has been assembled, it is time to move it into its final position. Before doing so, make sure that the casters are unlocked, and if you engage the leveling feet, make sure they've been raised back up. Once the printer is in its final position, we will install the software and inks.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe to our channel to get notified about our latest content. We'll see you next time.